Hey guys, long time no see. First and foremost, sorry about that, but life is life. We'll talk about it a little bit here in just a second. There is a food truck that's like not far from my house here, and they have a generator, I believe, and it is going. So if you hear that in the background, sorry about that. I've not had time to sit down and do this in a little bit, so this is my first time to actually like sit down and plan some makeup in quite some time, and I'm excited to do it. So full face of ColourPop, let's do this. So probably my favorite palette from ColourPop at the moment is Stone Cold Fox. I love this palette. There are so many beautiful shades in here. It's a cool tone palette, and there's just a lot that can be done out of this palette. If you're wanting a smaller palette that is very versatile, I would say Going Coconuts is probably my favorite smaller, like 9-pan palette. It's very worn and used, but I just love this. I think it is a perfect like neutral eyeshadow everything. So if you're looking for neutral eyeshadows, this is definitely the way to go. So I don't have an eyeshadow primer from ColourPop, but I do have this ColourPop No Filter Concealer in the shade Fair 06. And I usually don't like to use concealer on my eyelids because it usually creases on me. But for the sake of this, we're going to use concealer on my eyelids. I'm also going to take this ColourPop Pretty Fresh pressed powder. I have the shade Fair 4, and I'm just going to set the eyelid with that because if I do use concealer, I like to set it. Okay. So, going into the Stone Cold Fox palette, I'm going to use a mix of these two shades here, and they're called Stranger and Stone Age. That's going to be my crease shade. So I did take a little bit of this shade here called Gravity Heal, and I just kind of deepened it up just the tiniest bit. I do find when I set my eyes with a powder and then try to use ColourPop, it's not as vibrant as if I would just went straight in with just an eye primer. So not my preferred way of using it, but it will work. It'll be okay. So the next shade I'm going to go into is this shade here called Fascinated, and this is going in this outer corner. Then I'm going in with this shade here, and it's called Cult Plastic. I'm going to go back in with the concealer and put a little bit on the back of my hand here, and I'm going to carve out the crease. So I've got that cut out, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this Luxe shade right here, and I'm going to put that over top of it. It's a very pigmented white color, and I love it. I just took a little bit of this Drama Mama and deepened up that outer corner just a tiny bit. Okay, so normally I would take this black shade, which is very black, and I love it. And that's what I love about this palette is you have like really bright whites and then a dark black. So you really go across the whole spectrum here. But I would normally take that and do my eyeliner. However, since I am doing a full face of ColourPop, I will use their liquid liner today just because it's full face. So I have two. I have the Grande, which is my favorite. It's the brown one. And then I have Numero Uno, which is black, and that's the one I'm going to use today. It is a felt tip liner. It is a very dark and pigmented. And I love this. Love these liners. From what I remember, they're wonderful. I've not used a liquid liner in a very long time. Really pretty. Okay. Then I have a bunch of Super Shock shadows. Now these were from the Raw Beauty and ColourPop collab, Raw Beauty Christie and ColourPop collab, if I can talk. So these are not necessarily going to go with my eye look, but I wanted to show them to you. I have those. I also have a ton of these, and they are the Disney Princess collection, and I think I have a broader range of shades here. So this one is like Blue for Cinderella. This is Sleeping Beauty, I believe, because it's pink. This is Princess and the Frog. It's a green one. This is Little Mermaid. I have a golden one, Beauty and the Beast. I have this one, which is called I'm Wishing, and I think this is from Snow White. This one is Reflection from Moana, or not Moana, Mulan. I'm crazy. This one is How Far I'll Go from Moana. This one is Colors of the Wind from Pocahontas. And then this one is Arabian Nights from Jasmine, or Aladdin, but it's the Jasmine Princess. Okay, so I'm gonna open up these two. We have the Brave blue, the purple. I'm not sure which one that one is, but it's pretty. It's purple. I'm not taking them out because that would just take forever. One thing about these that you want to do every time that you use them is make sure you close them really tightly so they don't dry out. Then this one is from Snow White. It's the more white one. I just kind of want to tap it over that white, because usually I would just leave the look like this. My eyes, but these Super Shock shadows are so beautiful, and they're perfect for just a one and done type of deal. So just pat them on and then go. They're great, so you don't have to do a whole eyeshadow look. I'm gonna keep these set to the side for just a second, and then I'll decide what I'm gonna do with them. I can't decide which one I want to use right now. I realized today as I was sitting down to do this that I did not have a face primer, foundation primer. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use this Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Setting Mist, and I'm gonna just use it for some hydration to the skin. And then I have two foundations. This one is my favorite, the ColourPop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Foundation. I have the shade Light 70W, and the No Filter foundation is okay, it's just not my favorite, and it's also in Light 70. So what are we gonna do? I'm gonna use this one. I was gonna mix them there for a second. Should I mix them? I don't know. So I did mix them. And it's not the perfect shade, but we'll make this work, okay? Just bear with me. This works when I have a self-tan really nicely, but I don't have one. Okay, so obviously the wrong shade. Obviously. Bear with me just a moment though. So this is the Soul Body Face and Body Bronzing Balm in Light, and I love this. This is like my favorite cream bronzer probably. And it's so huge, like you'll never go through all of it. It blends so easily. So I have this concealer that I used for my eyes, and I don't like this under my eyes, like underneath here, because it just doesn't look very good. It looks a little creepy on me, so I don't like to use it under my eyes. However, I love this concealer. I have 3 of them. That's how much I love it. It's the ColourPop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Creamy Concealer. And I'm going to use the lightest shade, which is Fair 20N. I'm going to show you how we're going to make this foundation shade work. I don't normally put it here just because I've been trying not to put concealer all over my face, but today we're going to. Today is a day that warrants that. So I'm going to take this Pretty Fresh powder once again, and I'm going to take a powder puff and set underneath my eyes. also have the No Filter Loose Setting Powder, and I'm going to use that to set the rest of my face. So what I did with the pressed powder is I just set where I put the concealer, and now I'm going to use the loose powder. Wow, it was open. It's made a mess. Okay. So this setting powder is not my favorite, I'll be honest with you, but I used it because it's so light. It's in the shade Translucent, and I used it to try to lighten things up a little bit. Honestly, it's not exactly where I want it to, but it's better than it looks. Okay, I have two of these. They are the Super Shock bronzers, and I love them. I have the shade Get Sandy and I'll Bet. Get Sandy is my preferred one. I'm trying to pick the cooler tone so that we don't get warmer. I think I'm going to go with the I'll Bet shade today just because it's a little cooler, and we will try to do a little bit more of a contour than a bronze. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my brush in here and I'm going to get it good and coated. Now there's a very unique consistency to Super Shock anything. So just know that it's more of a putty formula, and it's gonna look really beautiful on airbrush as long as it doesn't grab onto that powder that I don't like. And you can use it over powder most of the time as long as the powder cooperates. I love the way this applies. I just think it is just really beautiful, and I feel like it's always such a beautiful finish. So gorgeous. I have so many Super Shock blushes, it's crazy. This is one that I love. It's called Over Dramatic, and it's a little bit of a deep coral. It's really pretty. I have this one. It's, I think, my newest one probably. It's called Count Me In. Really pretty. It's like a peachy, soft, I think they actually describe it as pink, but to me it's more peachy. Now, if you really want something bright coral, this is your one. It's called No Vacancy. There's No Vacancy. And then I have Drop of a Hat. Now, this one is really pretty, and it has some shimmer to it. It's really, really pretty. But my favorite one is this one, and I have a backup because I love it so much. It is the Between the Sheets. It's also my oldest one, and I ordered it because I just knew that it was going to be so amazing. And this one actually isn't bad. This is the old one that is still giving pigment. It's called Between the Sheets. They look the same to me. I might have a little bit more pigment on that middle finger, which is the newer one, but now I just take a regular brush and swirl it in there just like I did the bronzer. I don't know if I said, but this is what I'm going to use Between the Sheets. See how neutral it is and just really, really pretty. This old one might be ready to be done with. It's really on its last leg. We might go ahead and throw that one away. It works, but it's kind of dry, and it's seen better days. So I have powder. Like, I have powder blushes in this quad. It's 3 blushes and a highlighter. I have other powder products, powder blush products. Really pretty, but these are like limited edition collection. Not this one, this one. Like this and this one. These are from limited edition collection, so these aren't available anymore, so that's why I didn't use them. But their powder products are really good too. I just personally prefer their Super Shock formula. That's just my thing. To further solidify that, I have the Super Shock highlighters here. I have the shade Flexitarian, Wisp, and Flute Punch is the last one there. So the like rose gold one in the middle is the Wisp, the golden one is Flute Punch, and that white one is Flexitarian. I'm going to go with Flexitarian just with what I've got on today. Now you can do this with a brush, but I just do this with my fingers because I like it better. So I just put a little on my finger and then tap. And I go lightly because I feel like I can control it a little bit better that way. And the blend is a little better that way. So I'm highlighted. My favorite Super Shock highlighter is definitely the Wisp. It's like that rose gold one. I like it for my skin tone. So I do have the brow pencil from ColourPop. I'm not a huge fan of this, I'll be honest with you. They used to have a Brow Boss pencil that I loved, and I feel like they changed the formula, or this is maybe a different one, I don't know. But this is just not the same, and I don't like it as much. Now their brow pen is an absolute dud. Do not waste your time with that one. I'm not even going to demonstrate it to you. It's awful. So that's just with the pencil through them. I also have the ColourPop Feather Effects styling wax, and it's in like the deeper shade. They have like a clear one and they have this one. I don't even know if this will work. We'll try it, but I don't know. So I put the wax in them. We'll see. We'll give them a second. See how it goes. I'm going to take the ColourPop Cream Gel Liner in the shade Exit, which is probably my favorite shade and the most used in my collection. And I'm going to put that in the waterline. I think I am going to take Snow White, and I'm just going to dip my finger in it just a tad, and just a little bit I'm going to put over here. I think I'm going to take a little bit of my Brow Boss gel in the shade Dark Brown, because I think I used all of my lighter shade. And I'm just going to put that through my brows just a little, just for some depth, some color. It's hard when you're used to a certain way of doing your brows and then you change it. Like, I love a brow pen, obviously. So one more thing before I do everything else. I'm going to take this pressed powder and just lightly buff it over everything. I like to do this to kind of finish everything up. I almost forgot. I have to finish my lower lash line. I'm crazy, guys. It's been a while since I've done this. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this shade here, these two, Stone Age and Gravity Hill, and I'm going to buff those along the bottom lash line. Sorry guys, I got a phone call, I had to take it. So I finished my bottom lash line. I took this deep Drama Mama, it's a deep brown, and I just lined the bottom lash line with that after I buffed Gravity Hill and Stone Age down there. And then I realized I didn't have a ColourPop mascara, which is crazy. I used to love their mascara, the BFF mascara. Used to be one of my favorites, and I used it all up, and I just never repurchased it for some reason. I guess since I had so many, I just purchased other brands. But anyway, I didn't have a ColourPop mascara. Sorry about that. So I just used Maybelline Sky High. So let's do lips, shall we? My very favorite lip pencil, probably. In general, across the board. No, I can't say that. I have a lot of favorites. I need to be careful about saying favorite, but you know, I just love everything. But this is the ColourPop BFF lippy pencil, and I love this. So I'm going to line my lips with this one. And then I also have the Lippy Sticks in Cookie. Really pretty. And I'm not a huge fan of their lip glosses. I have quite a few of them actually. But now I love this lip oil. Let me show it to you. So it's a nude. Then just a little bit more setting mist. When you put a lot of powder on, it's important to have a little bit of a setting mist to go back on it. And there you have my full face of ColourPop. I love just about everything that I used. I mean, I really do. The only things that I would like not recommend, and I didn't even really talk about this, is the ColourPop matte bronzer. And this is not bad. I got the shade at Miramar Beach, and it's just very orange, so that's why I didn't put that on today. But I do like the mirror in this. It's a nice big mirror, and I use it quite a bit to, you know, just whatever, look in or whatever. So maybe a different shade would be nice. I don't like that for that shade, so I've not really used it. Their eyeliners are good, and I like having the white eyeliner, but you can get it from a lot of different brands now. It used to be kind of like one of a kind deal, and I feel like other brands will stay on a little bit better than theirs. And I have a ton, like this is not all, but I have a ton of these, and they're not bad at all. They're just not my favorite, and they're not very long lasting. So I put that on my waterline, and it's still there, but it's not as bright as it was. So lip pencils are wonderful. Pretty Fresh concealer all the way. Don't even bother with no filter. Don't bother with no filter foundation either. Just go ahead and get the Pretty Fresh it's not concealer. Get the Pretty Fresh foundation. It's much better. I love this setting mist. I think it's wonderful. Super Shock shadows, they are wonderful. They're great, like one and done, you know, slap it on and go. Skip over their brow products. I'm not so like amazed by them. They're not horrible, but they're just not great. So I would rather have something else. The lippy sticks are wonderful. This palette is a must. If you're gonna get one big palette, this or the Bare Necessities is a must, because they're neutrals, and you're just gonna reach for neutrals more than you are gonna reach for the colorful palettes. So just keep that in mind when you're shopping, because it's easy to forget when you're seeing all these beautiful colors, because that's what I did a long time ago. Is I used to see all these beautiful color stories, and I was like, oh, I love it, I love it. But then I'm like, I don't even use those, because yeah, they're beautiful, but I don't wear those shades. So get you something that's more practical. And this is practical. And I have a lot of ColourPop eyeshadow palettes. If I showed you them all, we'd be here for a while. So I want to try some of their new mascara, not the BFF. I don't know if they even have that anymore, because it's been quite a while since I had that. But I want to try some of their new mascara. So mascara and primer's the one thing I didn't have. So other than that, everything's full face of ColourPop. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. I'm sorry it has been so long since I've done a video. I'm gonna do one here in just a second and kind of talk a little bit, so hopefully I'll get that one up before this one. And if you've watched that, then you'll know a little bit more about what's been going on lately with me. And that's not for it, that's only if you want to know. If you don't, that's okay too. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you like the ColourPop. I love ColourPop. It's probably one of the biggest biggest collections of brands that I have in my whole collection, because the most items from a brand that I have in my collection, because when I was going through, I was like, man, I really have a lot of ColourPop. So yeah, I'm going to do a little bit of decluttering and get rid of some of the stuff that I don't like and that I don't use. There's no point in me having it, so stay tuned for that. But thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you're staying safe, happy, and healthy. I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.